If you've been wondering what's actually happening in the St. Lucie County market, February gave us a pretty clear picture. And I'll be honest with you, the market still isn't crashing. And it's also not the type of market where you can just throw a price out there and hope that it sells. So, in this video, I'm going to break down what actually happened in the market here in St. Lucie County in February and what it means if you're thinking about selling this year. What's going on, guys? This is Ronnie Dinsmore, and if this is your first time here, then I break down the monthly market updates and inform you on what's actually happened in St. Lucie County. That way you can be informed before making a decision on going forward. And today, we're going to break down those February numbers, and more importantly, what they mean for you if you're thinking about selling this spring or in the next 6 to 9 months. All right, so let's look at the big picture. In February, there was 383 single-family homes sold, and this number is up slightly compared to this same time in 2025. Now, what that tells us is simple. Buyers are still out there. This isn't a completely dead market. And price-wise, it's staying the same thing. We're at basically $390,000, which is right where we were last year at the same time. So that tells us that prices didn't really drop, but they also really haven't gone up either. And one of the more surprising numbers is pending sales are up. So that tells us that the buyers are out there, the market is still active, and there are actually more homes going under contract than most were anticipating. So whenever you take a step back and look at the big picture, it tells us that prices are still up, buyers are still active, and homes are still selling, which are all great signs if you're thinking about selling in 2026. Now here's the part that matters most to homeowners. The market is good, but it's not forgiving. And here's what I mean by that. Homes that are priced properly and show well are doing just fine. However, on the contrary, homes that are overpriced, not showing well, and not well maintained, well, those are the ones that are sitting longer. So this isn't the type of market where you can just test the waters and see how things go. You have to be strategic from the beginning. That way you get the most eyes on the property and have the best chance to sell. Now let's talk speed of the market, because this is one of the biggest questions that we get. And right now in St. Lucie County, we're averaging 58 days on the market. Compared to last year, we were averaging 60 days, so we are down slightly year over year compared to 2025. And while that might not sound like a huge difference, it lets us know that serious buyers are out there writing offers and still purchasing homes. It's just not happening over the first few days of the houses being listed as it was back in the peak years. Now, another really important number that I like to pay attention to is what we're getting whenever we compare our list price to our purchase price. And right now, we're at about 94.6%. We're just under 95% on that value, which is down slightly compared to last year when we were getting closer to 96% of our ask price to our purchase price. So what does that mean? Well, that tells us that buyers are negotiating a little bit better than they were a year ago. Not dramatically, but enough to where it lets us know that pricing really matters. So again, if we price properly from the get-go, then we're going to be in a good position. But if we want to try and list high and hope that we get the offers, it's less likely to happen than it has in the past. Now, one number that really stood out was the cash buyers for February. Of the 383 sales, 124 of them were cash buyers, which is up significantly compared to this same time in 2025. And that tells us something really important, that there are still strong buyers in the market, whether it's investors, people with high equity coming from another location, or snowbirds from coming up north. Regardless of where it's coming from, the demand is still there. Now, when we look at the price point of the majority of the sales, the sweet spot for St. Lucie County right now is right between $300,000 and $500,000. So if your home falls within that range, then you're in the prime market right now for what buyers are looking for. But, and this is important, that's where the most competition is going to be. And that's why having a great strategy matters more than it ever has in the past. Now, Here's something that might surprise people a little bit. Our inventory is actually down compared to where we were previously to 5.3 months of inventory on the market currently. So technically, that means that we are a little bit tighter than we were this time last year. However, that does not mean there's not competition. And there are still plenty of homes on the market in the common price ranges, so buyers do still have options. So if I had to sum up February in one sentence, it would be this: the market is steady, buyers are active, and the sellers that are winning are those that are strategic and priced appropriately from the get-go. So if you're thinking about selling sometime this year, now is the perfect time to start planning. Not necessarily rushing, but just getting that plan in motion. And if you want to get a better idea of what your home is worth in today's market, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to answer any questions, take a look at your situation, and let you know exactly what the numbers look like for your home. You can either schedule through my Calendly link, request a home value review, or if you're in the beginning stages, download my seller guide. All three links are down below. And if you'd like to stay in tune with what's going on in the market, feel free to subscribe, and I do these updates monthly.